This is Leadership in Action, and I'm Mark Stiles, your host. Join me as we delve deep into the passions, expertise, and experiences of Boston area innovators. Sponsored by the Boston chapter of Entrepreneurs Organization, this is Leadership in Action. Hey folks, welcome back to Leadership in Action, your Boston's chapter of EO's podcast. I am Mark Stiles, your host, and today I'm really excited. I'm really excited to dive into the fresh mind, this inspiring individual. He was honored with the first place position for his nonprofit work by our GSEA. That's right. He is the winner of our Global Student Entrepreneur Award here with EO. He is one of Boston Innovators, Bostino's 25 under 25. He founded the 501c3 nonprofit company, Computers for People, Inc. in 2019 when he was just, drumroll please, 15 years old. Please meet Dylan Zajac. Welcome to the show,
Mark.
Dylan.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're excited to have you, and congratulations. This is a huge honor bestowed upon you for the work that you have done with an amazing organization. So congratulations to you first and foremost.
Thank you.
So as we start all of our podcasts here at Leadership in Action, your Boston chapter of EO's podcast, what is the most positive lesson that you've learned while running your business, Dylan?
Yeah, Mark, I would say one of the most positive experiences was really the negative experiences along the way. I know, like, multiple times a week, I fail at different things, and that kind of motivates me to keep going. At some point, like I submit over 3 or 4 grants per week, and every week I get 3 or 4 denial letters say, you're not a good fit for this grant. But, the 10-20% where we get accepted, that feels good. So
that is awesome. And I know that it is a huge obstacle for a lot of people. They're allergic to rejection. They are avoiding pain, and you're leaning into it and you're saying, you know what, this is actually a positive. Help me understand what you mean.
I think I have quite a high pain tolerance. Maybe not physically, but mentally. I try to put myself into the most uncomfortable situations I possibly can. Like for the last week, I've been basically sleeping in our office to get an insane amount of work done. Like my goal was to hit 200 computers donated this week, and I've been like palletizing hundreds and hundreds of monitors and computers, and we have some staff that are out, so I'm just like running around from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. Trying to get stuff done. And it's these times where it just like makes me want to work harder every single day, because I know the crazy amount of impact that we can make, and we're not even there yet. Like every day we're impacting a dozen people, but let's get to the point where we're helping thousands of people every day get connected to computers, internet, and digital skills.
So let me stop you right there. What is it that your company is doing?
Yeah, so Computers for People is a nonprofit with our main mission is to bridge the digital divide. So what is the digital divide, right? The digital divide includes 3 main things. It's having access to a device like a computer, having access to the internet, and then also having the skills needed to actually use those two things, internet and devices. Because if you just had a computer and you didn't know how to use it, it's basically a brick. So what we do is all 3 of those, but we specialize in one, and that's collecting computers from individuals and companies that are refreshing, every couple years. A lot of people have a laptop sitting under their bed. Companies have to switch out the laptops every 2 to 3 years and give their employees new devices. We come pick up those computers for free, issue them a tax receipt, and then refurbish all the computers and give them to people in need for free. And then we have those other two programs where we give out free internet, and we teach almost a class every single day in New Jersey and New York City, teaching people how to turn on a computer, to make an email, to surfing the web safely, all of these things we're
So
doing.
I know I'm going to ask you this at the end of the show while people are hearing this and say, oh my goodness, I have 4 computers in my basement. I have one under my desk. How do they reach you so that they can get those into good hands?
Yeah, it's super easy. So you just go on our website, fill out a quick form where you say, oh, I have one desktop and I have 2 laptops, right? You submit that form, and then we'll tell you all the drop-off locations that are in your area to drop off the computers, or an address where you can ship them. If you have over a certain amount of computers, which is 10 right now is the minimum, we'll come and pick up all those computers for free.
That's amazing. That website is what?
Computersforpeople.org.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So you all take their computers. I assume it's clean. It's scrubbed clean of all data. It's not a Hunter Biden situation.
Well, sometimes, companies trust us to erase all their data. We have a pretty strict system where we do a NIST 888 wipe. There's a government issued wipe on all the devices, and we give certificates to the companies to ensure that all the data was scrubbed clean and it's not recoverable at all.
Excellent.
So we have a pretty strict process for that.
Excellent. And so then those computers probably need some repair. So how does that work?
Yeah, we have a small budget per computer. It's actually costs us on average $7 to refurbish one computer. The majority of computers we spend $0 on.
Wow.
So what we usually do is we have a custom USB drive where we plug that in. It automatically erases the computer, checks all the parts in the computer. So like, is the hard drive good? Is the battery, have charge? All this stuff gives us a check mark, and then it installs a custom image of Windows 10. So that's like our whole process. And then in the rare scenarios, we need to purchase chargers and like hard drives. But we don't do any repairs like beyond that because it's too time consuming when we're trying to donate hundreds or thousands of computers.
So most of the reason that people are donating this is the capacity isn't enough for them. However, it's treasure for someone else.
Exactly. I mean, most of the computers we get are less than 5 years old that have great processors, run Windows 10 perfectly. And maybe you can't run high graphics games on them, but you can, easily run a Zoom meeting and go online. So there's no reason why they should be thrown away.
So what's the next step in the process then? So now there's this computer. How do you identify the need?
Yeah, I think that's what we do really well. We partner with over 300 organizations, nonprofits across New Jersey, New York City, and now Massachusetts. And these organizations range from small local community centers to some of the biggest organizations in the country and in the world, really. And these organizations also know their communities the best. So they identify individuals in their programs that need a computer. Those individuals submit an application either online or through a paper version. And then the nonprofits write a recommendation letter that gets attached to that application. So once it's all in our system, we have an application committee that reviews all these applications. And if they meet all our eligibility requirements, then check mark, it goes into our system, and a computer gets dropped off to the nonprofit to disperse to the client.
I see. Okay. So nonprofit to nonprofit, not your nonprofit directly to the end user.
Exactly. Yeah. So we drop it off to the nonprofit. They're like the in-between that vets these clients and knows their community the best, so that we're not just coming in and, sending computers to random places. We know that they're going to the people that most need them, which, we have students, senior citizens, formerly incarcerated, homeless, veterans, refugees, a lot of people that, a lot of them have never used a computer before. And a lot of them have used a computer before, but don't have the funds to purchase one and have, an exam to do, or, need to apply for a job. And there's just no other way to do that without a computer.
Right. So who are some of the nonprofits, some of the common nonprofits that you're working with? Are there
We
some?
we work with Goodwill. I guess that's probably a big name.
Mhm.
Church World Service, Easter Seals, the Fortune Society, Community Access. A lot of big names in New York City, but then a lot of like national and worldwide nonprofits. But then there's also small local organizations like here in our hometown of Hoboken, where we work with like the Hoboken Homeless Shelter and the Lunchtime Ministry, and these smaller organizations that really know their people the most. And those are the type of organizations where we're able to really make the most impact with, I think.
I love it. So tell me more about the bridge now. So now they have the device, and how is the literacy part of the equation?
Yeah, we started digital literacy classes about a year ago after getting a grant from Schmidt Futures. So we worked with this organization in New York City called Community Access, and we've donated over 300 computers to their clients. But we realized that, wow, a lot of these clients get the computers and really don't know how to use it. So after getting this grant, we were able to hire an instructor who built out a 14-week proprietary curriculum on, how to turn the computer on, how to just navigate Windows 10, and like, what are these icons? What's the file, icon mean? How do I click that? How do I see my downloads? So we walked through everything in these 14 weeks so that at the end of the 14 weeks, they know all of the resources and tools that a computer offers. So they can apply for a job. They can, maybe they just need to watch YouTube or, check their email. And those are really important skills to have.
And now they know how to do that.
And that can change someone's life, right?
Absolutely.
Like imagine not having a computer and not knowing what a computer has to offer, and then suddenly knowing like all the tools that a computer has to offer. Like you can access education, you can access jobs, you can access telehealth, all these services. It's really insane how much it can change your life.
Totally. Now let's talk about access. So that's the third pillar of your organization. So the internet. How are you working with folks to make sure that they have access to the internet?
Yeah, a couple different ways. So we donate mobile hotspots through AT&T and T-Mobile. So we get a hotspot and we donate it with a free year of internet to these people, and that gives them unlimited internet for that year. So, with a hotspot and a laptop, you can go anywhere in the world and be connected. We also just got a grant from the Federal Communications Committee or Commission, something like that, to do outreach for a federal benefit, which is called ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program.
Cool.
And with that, we're getting people $30 off their internet bill every single month, which in most cases is free internet. So we get like hundreds of people enrolled in this every single month, and we go out to 3 or 4 events per week and help people get connected.
So the question that I know everybody who's listening to this is wondering is, how did you get started? What motivated you to get this going and off the ground?
Yeah, so I was always a very I would say energetic young kid. Well, obviously I was young when I was young, but I was very energetic. I was originally into YouTube and making YouTube videos. Like I wanted to be a filmmaker when I was younger. From like 8 to 15, I was like all in. I wanted to be a YouTuber.
Cool.
I made thousands of videos, got some decent progress, decent viewership, but nothing insane. And eventually it's still up to some degree. A lot is privated.
Yeah.
for good reasons.
Yes.
But then in high school, I had some friends that I would go around to different thrift shops with in New York City. Like around Brooklyn, we would go to like 4 or 5 different thrift shops and pick through these shelves of like electronics that uh, some new stuff, some really old stuff, and we would bargain with these thrift shop owners to take it away. And we would like put it all, we'd stack them up on our skateboards, bring them on the subway, take them back to like my friend's house, and we would fix them up and then sell them on eBay and Facebook
Cool.
Marketplace. And we had a good business going. Um, but then through that, I saw that like, wait, how did all these electronics get into these thrift stores? And I started talking to them, and they said, "Oh, companies just drop them off here because they don't know what to do with them." And I found out that there's like 13 billion pounds of electronic waste in the United States every single year that gets recycled or thrown away.
Wow.
And of recycled and thrown away, 85% ends up in the landfill,
In
which
our
is just
United States landfills or
yeah.
overseas somewhere?
Well, a combination of both.
Yeah.
I'm sure mostly overseas,
Mm-hmm.
which pollutes everything in sight.
Yeah.
Imagine burning a computer. It's probably the worst possible thing you can breathe in.
I know. And I believe I saw a episode on 60 Minutes about that exact topic and how awful it is. So you're doing a massive service there alone for the environment.
Yeah, I mean, burning a computer, it just like think about drinking water from a computer, like from a. I shouldn't get into it. It's just
no, it's
terrible.
important though. I mean, it's not
terrible.
even one of the things you focus on. You're focusing on access to internet and literacy and the device. It's not even in your top 3 things, and you're recycling. You're doing amazing things for the environment on top of it all.
Yeah, so that's like it stems from that. And then talking to my stepmom, who works in the nonprofit space. She runs a nonprofit, and she told me how dozens of her clients don't have access to computers, and they couldn't afford them, but needed them for job search, for telehealth, for applying for jobs, all this stuff. And that was like the light bulb moment where I was like, oh, I can just collect all these computers, refurbish them, and donate them to people in need. And then like the next day, I figured out how to file for 501c3. I bought the domain names for like the .org and the .com just in case, and just started moving. Like got a board together, just figured everything out, and got the first donations from people on Facebook Marketplace like myself. And I convinced them to donate their computers to me instead of selling them, and that just like stemmed from that. And then I got convinced corporations to donate, and then I walked into nonprofits and had meetings with them and said, what do you need? How can I best assist you? Instead of just dropping off computers there, I tried to analyze how we can make the most impact. And that's what we focus on every day.
So it was your stepmother who helped you go from profit mindset to nonprofit?
Yeah, she did me the disservice to do that. Yeah.
Well, how do you find that? Was some of your friends, well, I'm out. If we're not making money on this, I'm out.
Actually, yes. Yeah. Because I pitched it to them. I didn't want to do this by myself, right? Everyone wants co-founders. So I pitched it to other people, and it was, it didn't take off. It didn't take off. But I guess that's what excited me too. It's like the challenge of it all. Like, you can make a for-profit company, you can make some money. It's not impossible, but building a sustainable nonprofit where it has enough revenue coming in and it's making a significant impact, doing both those things really well, is next to impossible. And that's what like excites me every single day, because I see the potential and the growth here, and we're at like this, this point, this inflection point where I think we could take off soon.
That's what I love about your generation is and I'll age myself a little bit, but it's that altruism, right? It's that deep, genuine altruism. We talk a lot about BHAGs in EO, a big, hairy, audacious goal. Can you see down the line where this is potentially going to go? Do you have that goal in mind, that target of what, 1 billion hamburgers sold? Do you have that out there?
I do. Yeah,
Let's hear it. You ready to share it?
next year I want to hit 250,000 computers donated. This year we donated 1,200.
Okay.
Okay. So next year I want to have an insane year.
So how do you do
But
it? How do you go from here to there? So grants obviously is your funding mechanism. Donations are a funding mechanism. How do you? I mean, what is that?
I think it's really solving the bottleneck and like creating a flywheel. Um,
Cool.
so what I've found to be the bottleneck with computers for people is the computers part. It's the supply. If we have a insane amount of supply, a never-ending supply, which there is, it exists, but it's just getting it into our hands.
Mhm.
That will generate this flywheel where we'll be sustainable and will run forever. Because we're creating a new model now, and we've been working on this for like about 6 months, where we now collect all electronic waste. So like we'll pick up your servers too. We'll pick up like anything, all like hundreds, thousands of monitors. We'll pick that up, and all the equipment that is good for donation, usually smaller desktops, like newer
Mhm.
desktops, and like all working laptops.
Mhm.
All those go to donation, 100% of them. But then the equipment that we can't really donate, that all goes to a partner, which recycles it properly and resells it. So that way we can generate this unrestricted funding to pour back into the organization, run all our programs for free, and yeah, like be a more sustainable organization that way. So
So you're, in essence, for lack of a better term, using the lost leader of we'll take everything from
mhm,
you. You don't have to worry about anything, and then we'll utilize what we can for donation, and you'll you'll sell the other pieces, or okay,
correct. Yeah. So we'll sell all the extra surplus equipment, um, but 100% of it goes back into operating the
cool.
programs. Um, Matching, combining that with the grant funding and foundational funding, like we receive funding from AT&T, Comcast, MetLife, a lot of big companies. So combining those two, I think, funding wise will be excelling, but then getting this insane amount of donations in, we're able to donate, a lot more computers, which is really the real goal.
That's awesome. That's truly amazing. So tell me about your team. Obviously, this is not a one-person show. So tell me about it, the team that you were able to assemble, and how were you able to do that?
Yeah. So right now we have about 8 full-time employees, all in our New Jersey office. So we have 3 supervisors of the different programs of the computer donation program, the internet, and the digital literacy program. Um, and then underneath them, they have other people that are working to, make everything happen. Um, I don't know. I don't know how it happened. Like we've just gotten to this point, and it's through a lot of trial and error. Like I've had, you know, probably every possible, situation happen over the years, with hiring and all the stuff. Um,
So
but I think
what's your role?
my role is executive director.
What's the day-to-day look like for the exec? I know you had said 18 hours and we're grant writing. What else?
Yeah, it's a lot of meeting with new people and strategic thinking.
Cool.
Um, that's at least what I want to be doing. I
Yeah.
spend a lot of my time on operational tasks that hopefully one day will get passed off to someone else, and also administrative stuff. Like I do all the books for Computers for People. I do all the grant reporting for multiple federal grants. Um, but on top of that, yeah, like I'll spend most of my day just meeting with new people, meeting with potential donors, with potential funders, new partners. I'm always trying to think ahead, think into the future. Um, so yeah, it's a combination of like all these administrative and operational tasks, along with we got to keep this growing. So
And you're still in school also,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, I'm still a junior at Babson College. So I work probably, more than full time, 40, 50 hours a week while I'm in school. And then like when I'm home, like now when I'm in the office, I am working ungodly hours. Who knows
Wow.
why?
Wow. So are there any books that inspired you more than others?
The thing is, I'm not like a big reader,
Okay.
but there is a childhood book that I do like. It's called "Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus." That's have you ever heard of it?
No.
You haven't?
Nope.
It's a great read. You should read it. It's probably like maybe 8, 10 pages, mostly
Yeah.
pictures. Um, but it's all about not letting the pigeon drive the bus, right? And the pigeon just wants to drive the bus. Just let the pigeon drive the bus, right? Um, but they constantly don't let the pigeon drive the bus, and eventually the pigeon gets to drive the bus, and he's so happy. But he persevered. I think that book, as a kid, taught me to persevere. And if you want to drive the bus, drive the bus.
I love
So
it. I love it. So you're super busy. You're doing hours and hours with your company, doing good for the world with huge goals, and we appreciate you. You're going to school. Do you have time for fun?
yeah,
What
yeah,
do
I
you
have
do?
fun. I have fun.
Well,
One thing I enjoy doing is I actually work. Oh, I say work, but
yeah.
I work at an ice skating rink at my school. So they teach me how to drive the Zamboni and
Oh,
sharpen
great.
skates. So that's something I really enjoy doing, just on a weekly or biweekly basis. On top of that, I mean, just spending time with friends and family. Like, there's so many hours in the day. If you just use it effectively, then I can work all day, hang out with friends at night, sleep 8 hours, and get a lot done.
I love it. I love it. You're a Zamboni driver. I had a friend who was in between jobs, and whenever anyone would ask what do you do? Hey, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? He would respond with, I'm a Zamboni driver.
Yeah, I'm excited
But you
because,
really are. That's very
well,
cool.
yeah, if this whole computers for people thing doesn't work out, at least I have a backup, right?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some people knocking on your door to you're a talent that people are going to be seeking out. How about AI Web3? Do you see the use of that being helpful in what you're doing at the scalability of it?
Being helpful 100%. I mean, I'm already looking into many different avenues for, like, how do we make repeat tasks not done by my staff, right? So thinking about like the marketing efforts, uh, you know, when we're thinking about like our customer acquisition costs, and how much effort my team is putting in to acquire new donors, how much of that can be automated into the new year. And then also for, like, I'll say it, for grant writing, like, it's just, you write paragraphs and paragraphs about the same thing 100 times. Um, there's many areas where grant writing could be automated and um, made more made easier for the nonprofits that forced to just apply for hundreds of grants.
That's really interesting. I didn't even, there's so much that AI affords for efficiency. I didn't even think of grant writing. ChatGPT, write a grant for this, then give it a really good prompt, and bam, it's done. Whereas, it takes people weeks to write those grants sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, and grants is like the perfect. It's like the perfect form, an application for like a chat GPT,
Mm.
because it's just questions about the same topic, the same organizations over and over again. And like, if you just feed these AI like enough data about, what you're doing, not saying that I do this, right?
Well, why
Um,
wouldn't you though? Right? Why, if it makes it more efficient, why not lead into that?
I would be really interested to hear what a foundation thinks about that. Um, like, if I told them, "Hey, I wrote this grant with 80% chat GPT," would they be like, "Oh, we're not giving you the grant?"
I don't know.
Um,
Well, maybe, right? Because there's still a lot of people who are very suspect of what this new revolution is coming. But when you talk with the people who are really utilizing it for efficiencies, They say it's a first draft. It breaks the writer's block. It helps get the momentum going. Obviously, we have to edit it and we have to review everything. We're not simply going to hit send or press send and go with it. Really interesting question, because that nonprofit space is very different than the for-profit space, right? Where people are leaning into the efficiencies, where some folks in the not-for-profit space are up against the wall saying, I don't know, I don't trust, and it seems like plagiarism. And
that's a huge problem too. Like, just like, don't even talk about AI, just talk about like basic technology, like using CRMs and different tools online. Like, nonprofits don't utilize them very well. And that's something that C4P has done really well. Like, we've built out all our own CRM and inventory systems that all integrate with each other and automate the process. So like in the future, I'm totally looking to integrate like AI into that. Like, wouldn't it be so cool if I just like take a photo of the computer and then it like populates with all the information about it, right? That'd be sick. Or I have like all these different ideas.
I love it. That's what I'm digging into.
It's so fun.
And it's nice to see the not-for-profits that run like businesses, right? They're not hobbies, right? There's so many not-for-profits where a bunch of volunteers are getting in a room hoping to do good, yet they're not thinking about it like a business. So for you, setting it up with your leadership team and structuring and looking for efficiencies and organization, it's really inspiring, truly.
Yeah. And yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I'm excited to see the new wave of technology that comes in, because that will impact like my whole mission too. Like, in 20 years, I think the digital divide will look way different than it does today. Like, maybe we'll be tackling AI as an organization, and fighting off robots, or computers for the people.
Right.
We'll see,
Right. Well, right. That's interesting way of looking at it as well. However, it is definitely going to help, and you are absolutely helping create a less of a divide, if you will. So what's next on the GSEA? So you won Boston, you're going up to the next step. When is that? Where is it?
I believe it's in Nashville.
Nice.
In February. So
nice.
I gotta get my act together, go to Nashville, maybe listen to some country music, and hopefully do Boston some good.
Yes, you will. And hey, chapter, listen up, lean in, help Dylan, make sure that he represents powerfully for our chapter down there.
Yeah.
So again, go ahead.
The more computers we get from people in Boston, the more inflated our numbers will look on that slideshow.
So let's do that, right? So let's do that. Here's our call to action. So how do people do this again? So folks that are tuning in and paying attention, this is it. This is what you want to be writing down. It will be in the show notes.
Yeah. If anyone has a computer, you can go to computersforpeople.org and submit to donate them. Additionally, if you work for a company or work with other companies, recommend to their IT director that, after the end of the life cycle of their devices and equipment, they call us up or fill out that form online, and we'll pick all of it up. And it'll impact thousands of people in need. So,
and if someone wants to get in touch with you directly, Dylan, how would they do that?
Call me at 201-669-3062.
Lean in, folks. Help this next generation. This has really been inspiring, Dylan. I appreciate you sharing your experience with us, your wisdom. At your youthful age, you still have wisdom, you have experience, and sharing your mission and your goals with us. Thank you. And we wish you the best of luck in Nashville.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Hey, folks, this has been another exciting episode of Leadership in Action, your Boston chapter of EO's podcast. If you thought of somebody, share this with them. In fact, share this with anyone. Be well, everybody. Leadership in Action is sponsored by the Boston chapter of the Entrepreneurs Organization. As the world's only peer-to-peer network exclusively for entrepreneurs, EO helps transform the lives of those who transform the world.